New to painting? My name is Kate Kern-Mundy. I'm an artist. I also teach, and these are some of the surfaces I use in my classes and stuff that I work on. Are you new to painting and you want to know what kind of surface to use? You don't know where to start? There's a lot of different options. So I'm going to show you some surfaces and different ones that I encourage my students when I'm teaching to try. When we talk about painting surface, we mean anything that you can put an oil painting on. And that surface needs to be durable, and it needs to have the flexibility to support the paint no matter the environment. It's in a humid environment, a dry environment, it's outside, it's inside. You never know where the artwork is going to be stored or hung. And so you want that surface to withstand the test of time and the environment. You want high quality art materials so your artwork holds up to the test of time and looks professional. So let's start first with canvas and linen. Canvas is a fabric, and you can buy it in weight. It's also sometimes given a number, 1 to 12, 1 being the thickest and 12 being thinner. Some can be woven, they can be woven in different ways. That's more complicated. This kind of canvas is raw, and it would need, this is a cotton duck, and you would need to treat this before you paint it on it and potentially stretch it over a hard surface. They can be purchased like this. This is got a little sample of this one. It's on something called a stretcher, also something called a strainer. It's just a wood structure underneath, and it's stretched over, and this has been gessoed. It's pre-gessoed. This is pretty high quality. This is something that somebody gave me. It came from Michael's. It's, again, you can see it's on a wood structure. It's really thin cotton canvas, and it's pre-gessoed. And then there's linen, which is sort of the cream of the crop. It's more durable than the cotton. It has a longer fiber structure, but again, this would need to be treated. So this would be stretched over a wooden frame and stapled down, and then it would be gessoed with an acrylic gesso or sized, and then gessoed in an oil gesso. Oil will deteriorate any surface that comes in contact with, so you always have to protect the surface from the oil. These would have to be stretched. I personally don't like working on a stretched canvas. It has a lot of flexibility and give. I prefer a surface that's harder. I might stretch this over a wooden surface. So I would glue this down over the surface and then gesso it. But some people really like working on canvas, and that's an opinion thing. It's totally up to you. Stretched canvas and linen, because of that flexibility, that little bit of bounce, it'll wear out your brushes more quickly, and it takes more paint to cover the surface. So just be aware of that. But it does have a really beautiful look. It's lightweight. So these are widely available. You can buy them pre-stretched, pre-gessoed at any craft store or art supply store. Everybody kind of knows what you're talking about if you say, I want a pre-stretched canvas. Let's get into wood panel. This is a Dick Blick, that there's lots of other different brands. This is birch ply this is a cradled panel. So it's glued down to a panel, and then this would need to be treated and gessoed. The wood panels. This is a piece of masonite, also called hardboard, and this has been gessoed in oil-based gesso. This is a Richardson & Company premium gesso panel. So again, it's hardboard. You can purchase it just like this. It came with a gesso on it. Easy to travel with. And this is a Raymar panel. I'm not quite sure what kind of board this is, and then it has a thin sort of fabric over it. And this is one where I covered it. I did a painting on it I didn't like, and I covered it with oil-based gesso. This is an ampersand panel. This is one of their more affordable lines. It has a thinner cradle to it. This is, again, it's a hardboard on a cradle. That's this wood structure. And this one is, I'm not sure which kind of gesso this is, but this is a pre-gessoed surface, and it has a little bit of a texture to it. I don't know which brand this is, but again, it's a cradled panel. birch ply, and then I gessoed this in acrylic and toned the gesso with a yellow tone. Sometimes white can be daunting to get started with. This is a panel, hardboard panel, not birch ply. I believe this was an ampersand. Came pre-gessoed. I put a yellow tint on top of the pre-gesso, painted on it, didn't like the painting, so I went over it with an oil-based gesso. You cannot put acrylic gesso on top of an oil painting. It'll crack over time. You can also use this, the Winsor Newton. This is an acrylic and oil pad. This is a paper that has a little bit of a texture to it, like a canvas texture, and it has been treated with a gesso that you can paint on. So these, again, are nice for traveling. If you're working on studies and you're like, this is not going to be a good painting, or I'm just getting started and I want to learn and I don't want the expense of the cradled panels or the canvases or the hardboard. But if you just want to start learning and you know the paintings are not necessarily going to be good and you just want to get a feel for it, I would recommend, this is mat board. These are scraps I get from a local frame shop. She saves them for me, the center cuts, and I use them with my students as just paint. Low pressure. You're not wasting materials. You didn't spend a lot of money. I bring these gessoed to my classes. So, and again, I use an acrylic gesso like this. Doesn't have to be this brand. It can be any brand of acrylic gesso. And I tint it with a little acrylic paint. This one has a little bit of a texture to it. It's a little bit sandy. This is Stonehenge printmaking paper. This can be gessoed and then taped to a board. So this has this acrylic gesso, and it's toned with a little yellow acrylic paint, just to, again, give it a different surface. It's not white. It's as a way to start. I like to tone with grays or yellows. That's what I like. But you can tone with browns, blacks, blues, purples, just anything to sort of remove the white. This is something I learned about when I was in art school. This is shellacked paper, shellac. And for the last, I don't know how many years, they keep saying they're going to stop making bullseye shellac. So far, they have not. Shellac is made from the outsides, exoskeletons of a certain type of beetle in Southeast Asia. This is alcohol based. So when you clean up with this, you're going to want to use denatured alcohol. This is also super quick drying. With shellac, you will want to treat the surface first. So you can paint the paper with a acrylic medium. This is a gloss medium varnish. They also have matte medium varnish. This is what I had in the cabinet. So treat it with acrylic medium, or you can treat it with acrylic gesso first, and then paint the shellac on top. So this is cleaned up with water, soap and water. This is cleaned up with denatured alcohol. I'm going to show you the back of this paper. If you don't treat it, you're going to get, I don't know if you can see that. That's what it looks like on just raw paper, and it will eventually sort of stain, and your paper will kind of disintegrate over time. Not in 10 years, but maybe in 20 years. I really like the shellacked surface. It's really warm and it's super slick. So it's fun to use. I have a sample. This was a demo I did in a class, and this is on shellac, and it's just, you can see that. It's just fun. It's just fun to use. I didn't like the painting I did here, and I used oil-based gesso. This is Winsor Newton oil-based oil painting primer is what they call it. Got this, and I use this if I have old oil paintings that I want to cover. I use the oil-based gesso, and I tint it with a little oil paint. And again, this is cleaned up with odorless mineral spirits. I only use this for covering old oil paintings. I don't do it on raw, like new. I wouldn't use it on this. That's my preference because it's just a lot of work. It's not that you can't, you can. You could, so if you wanted to use a wood surface, you would do this with either matte medium, varnish gloss medium, or even an acrylic. You could use an acrylic gesso and then cover it with oil. It's a very different, it's very hard. It's a hard surface. It's not as absorbent as the acrylic gesso. I like painting on a hard surface. I like either the the acrylic or oil-based gesso. I like it to be smooth, not textured with a canvas texture. That's my preference. Also, you could sand it. You can make it like really smooth with sandpaper. This can of gesso will last me through multiple paintings. This one's almost empty, and I think so far I have gessoed at least 50. About this size, about 50 surfaces about this size with this amount of gesso, probably 100 with this amount of gesso. This paper, this is a half sheet. So a full sheet of this is like $5. This, maybe this is a 9 by 12. I don't know, maybe it's 15, $18 for a cradled panel. So these are great for practice when you're first starting out or you just want to give something a shot. This is great for if you like a hard surface. This is great. This pad is great for, again, you want to try stuff out or you're traveling. This is great if you want just an easy solution to painting, easy to frame, hang up, paint on. And if you want to get really involved, you can stretch your own canvas or mount your canvas on a panel, which is more involved. You have a lot of control over the feel of your surface, which I know a lot of artists really like. Other options out there, it's just a matter of finding what you like. This will just give you a taste of fabric, panel, or paper. Just try different surfaces and see what happens. It may completely shift the way you paint. You may decide that you really like a smooth surface or you really like a textured surface. So give it a shot. So I hope this helps. Set surfaces. I want people to try different types of surfaces.